Hi, everybody. It's Alan Fine, and I'm here with Peter Velitis, who's the Senior Vice President of Airline Relations for Internova. He is here to talk to us about a subject dear to our hearts, air travel, at a time when not only planes are flying, but viruses. And this is Insider Travel Report. So let's talk about Mr. Toad's wild ride. You went on two airlines. You went on United and Delta, was it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Let's hear about what you found.
So the first thing, which is important, I first had to hear an earful from my wife, Maria, who says I'm crazy to do this. Then my eldest daughter said, "Dad, if something goes wrong, can I have the car?"
Yeah, certain things are important to establish.
Yes. So and the reason I point this out is that for people traveling now, it is a concern on what does your family think, what do you think, and we can talk about that later. So I took Delta Airlines from LaGuardia to Boston. Short trip, but enough to see it. The first thing you notice when you go in is how empty it is. You look at the screen, TSA wait time 0. So everyone behind the counter in Delta, this is Terminal C. They have 2 terminals, so this is the C. Everyone had plexiglass in front of them. They're behind the counter. There were 5 people from Delta who had on their thing ramp. So these were people who work on the ramp at Kennedy. And because obviously there's no flights or limited, they brought them over to LaGuardia and put them in cleaning duty. So they were disinfecting all the touch screens, although I didn't see more than 10, 15 people. I went up to the person behind the counter and I said, "Hey, can you tell me what has changed?" Interesting enough, I heard this from the Delta employees and the United employees, is that people are more polite. People are very nice. They're very polite. They ask questions. I said, "Hey, if I don't have a mask, do you have one to give me? Because I know it's a big question." And they said, "Absolutely. We have masks here. They have masks. They have little wipes. Everywhere you go 10 feet and there's another station to Purell your hands." So you could see the cleanliness, you could smell the cleanliness. It's a very comfortable feeling. So you can check in a bag or you can carry on. I just wanted to talk to them to see the mood. Then I move over to Clear, as I have Clear, and I recommend for those who are going to travel, get Clear. It's a great value today. You stand in front of the machine, you don't touch anything, it works with your iris. And then you're good to go. You show your boarding pass as you go through. So they had 3 lanes, and there's way too many TSA employees for what was going through, but I fully understand the commitment. And it's like, use me, come through my lane, right? So I had a little bag. I purposely took a bag to see how it goes through. They explained to me that Delta's working on some sort of UV system, so when the tray goes through on the other end, it gets sterilized and then goes back underneath. Then when you go inside, again, very few people. If a lounge is open, it's pretty much just to sit there, and they have some sort of packaged, crackers and very little stuff. But most of the lounges aren't open. And then the boarding, again, they've taken. If you walk through all the concessionary stands, there's no hot food. Most of them are closed. Actually, all of them are closed except the couple where you can grab to go. Anything pre-packaged you just want to take, buy it. All the other ones that cook hot food, everything is closed. There's nothing open to that extent when I was traveling. And then the boarding was very civilized. There wasn't a lot of people, so it's easy to control. People were separated. The people before you get on the plane had plexiglass in front of them. Everyone had masks. I think the thing you will notice is it's kind of almost a normal flow, but everyone just has masks. There's no hustle and bustle.
So what do we make of these reports where people don't wear masks and it's not enforced? Is that an aberration? Is that not the norm?
Yeah, no, that's not the norm. So here's what happens. Right now, the airlines have come down really hard. They even said, we'll put you on a no-fly list. If you don't want to put on a mask, we'll put you on a no-fly list. Again, this is the failure of the United States government to put out a guidance that if you want to fly, it's mandatory to have a mask. It's as simple as that. You do that. So the airlines have taken it upon themselves because they know that's a critical issue, right? They know that people want to feel comfortable. And the mask, and that has been proven scientifically. If you go on the CDC website, it shows the reduction on the spread if you're wearing a mask. And the airlines have now strict, say, put on a mask, you need to wear your mask. I can tell you this, is that, yeah, did I see some people with the mask below the nose, the mask a little up? Yeah, absolutely. You're never going to get 100% enforcement. You're really not. But I will tell you this, the flight attendants and everyone on the plane, and especially Delta that is still social distancing, they've made that commitment till the end of the year. It was a controlled environment. And
so the middle seats were open?
Yeah, absolutely. The middle seat was open, and then in the front, for those who were in the front cabin, the seat next to them was open. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's kind of like if it's 2 and 1 or 2 and 2, they leave the middle open.
All right, so Delta did keep its promise on the middle seats. You saw the cleanliness, and you felt good about that. And yes. What about United?
United Airlines, interesting enough, I flew them from Newark to Chicago. They only have 2 flights. Could you imagine where we are today, that Newark to Chicago, hub to hub, there's only 2 flights. There's the morning flight and the late, although they're adding more flights next month from what I understand. United showed me how they have a camera. They take a thermal scan of their employees and those who work in the terminal. And they actually, if their ID on the United IDs, there's a color of the day. So you get a little sticker that you've been cleaned to go and go through. Same thing. A couple of vendors open for grab to go, nothing hot food. Social distancing on boarding the flight, it kind of worked well. However, United will make an attempt for social distancing, but will not guarantee social distancing. If they can sell the seat next to you, they will. They'll advise your customer. They'll send a message saying, look, the flight is going to be full. Do you want to take another flight? But let's be realistic. The next flight might be a day later.
No, so wait, so you're saying that they are at least proactive enough to send an email early?
Yes.
Because one of the fears is you arrive there, you sit down, and then someone sits next to you and you felt they weren't supposed to. So right. How much advance notice are they willing to give?
Well, on my flight, I had it a day prior because, I think right when they see it's filling up, they'll send it. But let's be honest. I have no problem with the person sitting next to me, okay? So what is the recommended social distancing distance that you've seen that CDC puts out?
Well, but there's so many variables. Certainly with a wind coming down from a HEPA filter might change the distance. I get that. But obviously it's 6 to 12 feet.
So how many planes can put 6 feet apart, 2 customers? None of them. So, and let's be honest, and to the agents listening, to the advisors listening, let's be very honest, folks. A plane cannot make any money if it drops to 65, 70% load factor. It's just impossible. They would have to double the fares. And if they double the fares, then who's going to fly? And are we going to go back to the 50s where only the rich could fly? So, yes, United will make an attempt. Why? Because it's easy. How many people book a customer on a plane and say, oh, gee whiz, let me take the middle seat? No one. You take an aisle and you take a window, and the middle seat's going to be empty. And if the plane fills up, they start filling up the middle seats. So, and if you're in the front of the plane, between all the schemes on upgrading and points and all that, and you can buy a coach ticket for a couple of dollars more and sit in the front because of the, single aisle, 2 cabin planes, we should expect that, especially on United and American, we should expect that in the front of the plane, someone's going to sit next to you. And really, if you have a mask, you're okay, as okay can be.
Don't you think that this is how we're going to be choosing our airlines, by the little things that they do?
Yes, I think the customer first is going to personally make a decision. Am I okay to fly? Do I have to fly?
That's the first step.
The first step. The second is the bubbles.
Ooh, yeah.
Is how do I get to the airport? I'm in my house now, right? You're in your studio there. A nice piano, by the way. Nice. So we're safe. This is a sterile environment. I went to the airport. I drove with my car because I didn't want to get into a car. I didn't want to get into an Uber or a Lyft or a cab. I left it there. I walked over to the plane. I'll walk back. I walked through the terminal. Has the terminal done a good job of being safe? And the airlines have done a good job of making that. And the airlines have done a fantastic job of telling you it's clean on a plane, right? Now, when you say those little things, if I live in New Jersey and I want to go to Chicago, I have an option of one. I'm going to do it anyway. You have to realize there's so many little flights that right now, even with the small amount of flights, the airlines can barely get 30-40% lift, 30-40% occupancy, right? Load factors. So, you know what? I think the little things will count in the totality of the big picture. Is the terminal clean? Is the airlines continuing? Are they enforcing the mask? What did they do? That's huge.
The mask is a big one, especially if we're going to all say, okay, I need to be able to fly. I get it. I want to know that this plane is new enough that the filters have been changed. I don't want an old filter system. And how does a client or how does a travel advisor tell the client how to choose the plane?
Well,